So let's jump right in to the very first ever Love Your Shelf podcast.
Oh man, this is a momentous occasion.
It is. I have like shivers.
Listeners, you have no idea what we just went through to get this to work.
Yeah, we're supposed to be the technologically savvy ones, and
the secret's out.
Yeah. So this is episode 1, as I said, and we're going to call it "You Can Take a Librarian Out of the Library," because we are living in the world of COVID-19 and the library is closed. So that was sort of what prompted us to start this podcast, because we are missing all of our patrons and missing getting to talk to them. And so
we're so connected to this community under normal circumstances, of course. And yeah, I think we've had withdrawals a little bit and feel the need to, let everyone sort of get an inside look.
Exactly. And for librarians, we're actually very chatty.
Yep.
So we're not the quiet, shushy librarians at all.
Mm-mm.
So it's been
times have changed.
So we're going to talk about a few things, some like what's going on around here, what we're doing, and maybe some fun stuff too. So first of all, we've been, getting some questions from people, like, what are you doing all day? So I figured maybe we could talk about what's going on while the building is closed to the public, and but we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you up to, Emily?
Well, first of all, just for once everybody can come back into the library, they're going to be surprised at how organized this place is. It looks beautiful. I'm talking like down to the last shelf, cleaned and culled. It's gorgeous. So that feels really good. You and I haven't been as a part of that as everyone else has, though. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of experimenting, getting out of our comfort zones, planning for things that might happen and might not happen.
Yeah. So we've been, part of our reaching out and wanting to connect with people, we've been making videos and putting them on YouTube. And so that was a whole other learning process as well.
Yeah, I feel like I had to sort of become a stronger person to, find it within myself to make those videos. It's a weirdly vulnerable position to be in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's an ongoing challenge too.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
But it's something that we have always wanted to do to, to sort of expand our services. So it's been an opportunity, not just a challenge.
That's what I was gonna say. Is weirdly, we've had the chance to do things that, like you said, that we've always wanted to do and just don't have the time to when we're running our normal programs. So yeah, I do think we'll come out of this with some new skills.
Yeah, and then too, we've also been asked. Hopefully, we do. We do value learning here, so hopefully we learn a few things. But we have been asked, like, well, so if you're there and you're working, but you get to be in that big empty building, and it's a special building because it's a library, and so people are always wondering, like, what do you do when you get to be in there by yourself? Like, do you yell and scream and dance and run around and all that stuff?
That's all we do. It is a dance party every day.
Yeah, yes. So we want to know, because that's always the second part of that question, is when people ask, well, what are you doing there? Well, I know what I would do. It is X. So we want to know. So hopefully you guys are listening to this and will respond to us to let us know what you would do if you got to be in the library day in, day out, all by yourself while it was empty. And anybody, the person who has the best answer, we're going to announce a winner. of the contest as our next podcast. So,
Oh yeah, the
yes,
stakes are high, folks.
it is. You will get mentioned in the Love Your Shelf podcast.
That is celebrity status.
I mean, it's about to be. So, yeah, so we want to hear from you on that. So the other thing, one of the other things that we've been doing, as we said, we're working on videos. Well, right at the beginning of all of this, when we closed the library and we're trying to figure out what we were going to do, one of the main features of one of the main programs that we have is story time every week with Emily and Elia. And so we knew that we couldn't read full books, children's books, online
Right.
and post them because of copyright issues. So we were
We are
racking our brains.
librarians. We take that
Right.
very seriously.
We
Even though
follow
I
the
do
book.
feel like I've seen a lot of people that seem to sort of, I don't know, they seem like they're ignoring that, but we stay true to the copyright laws, just for the record.
Yes, we did not go rogue. We're trying to do the right thing. So what we did is we decided, well, we'll write our own story so that we can still have story time and not have to fool with copyright issues. So
Yeah.
our next little segment is I'm going to ask about the origin story of Daryl the squirrel.
Well, and it's so funny. So yes, Daryl is a character that actually Aaliyah came up with, and I thought she had just come up with it that day. But apparently he has an even richer history than we thought. She said that even like within the last couple of years, there was a squirrel that she would always see at the dumpster, and of course in the back. And of course, we don't know if it was the same squirrel every time or not, but we'd like to think that it was. And she named him Daryl, and so she'd greet Daryl every time she saw him at the dumpster. But yeah, little does he know, he lives on.
I hadn't heard that story. I didn't know
I
he was
know.
Dumpster Daryl.
Yeah, I know. So
Okay.
he's moved on not moved on to a better place in a bad way. I mean, in like a story time way.
Yes, really a better place. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, Aaliyah came up with this character Daryl, and she just started typing. And the first draft was super weird and only entertaining to us. But then we tweaked it and had a great little beginning of a story about a squirrel named Daryl who had a dream, and that dream was to ride a horse. So yeah, we wrote the first bit of that first little story, invited others to finish the story, and we got a couple of responses. So yeah, now we're continuing Daryl's adventures, and I'm trying to kind of split it. Now I've, taken the reins a little bit, and right now Daryl and his friends are in the middle of starting a band. So tune in, see what happens with that.
Yeah, and of course, like any megalomaniac author, you have to write yourself into the story.
Oh yes, how could I forget?
Yeah, so all the characters are all of us on the staff.
So Daryl has tons of girlfriends. They're all lady friends. But yeah, I went around.
Species too.
Yes, I went around. I asked everyone, all of our staff, what animal they would like their character to be. And at first we were kind of on a woodland creature. We were in that pattern. And then Summer said, well, could it be, I don't remember how she phrased it, like, could it be any animal? And I was like, I kind of skeptically was like, yes. And she said, because I'd like to be a dolphin. And I was like, okay, dolphin it is. I'll find a way. So yeah, all kinds of animals.
So we're continuing that. Daryl has also gotten his own illustrations, and all of the characters have. Thankfully, we have Katie, who on the staff, who has been doing those illustrations, and we're planning on compiling this into a book, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I'd like to. I mean, I definitely think it could be edited a little bit more carefully. But yeah, I think it could be. I'm having so much fun writing it.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. I mean,
oh, good, thank you.
Yeah, because he's got his tiny little hats and his tiny little.
I always try I always try to remind everyone how tiny his belongings are. He has a squirrel, and
Right, right.
tiny things are adorable.
Of course. So, yeah, so we're going to continue Daryl, but we're also, we're still purchasing and researching books.
Mm-hmm.
We're focusing on ebooks and e-audiobooks for right now. But, those kinds of things, that's something that we are doing on a daily basis. So we'd like to take a little segment to talk about, like, what we're reading,
Mm-hmm.
watching, because, even though we're working, we are spending some of our, quarantine time in front of the Netflix and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
So,
we are guilty of that as well.
yeah. So what are you into these days?
Well, as for reading, I'll start with reading. So there's a series, I don't even know what you would call the series, the Three Pines novels, Inspector Jamash.
Mm-hmm.
But the author is Louise Penny. My mom introduced, it's a murder mystery series, but it's pretty light. My mom
Mm-hmm.
introduced me to this series a couple of years ago, and I've really slowly sort of been making my way through it. But I just finished The Beautiful Mystery is the one that I just finished, and I'm just glad to be back into that series. It's really fun. I want to live in the little village where it's set and eat all of the delicious food, and it's a great, like, cozy mystery.
I've always loved the concept of a light murder mystery. That's like
Me
my favorite
too.
description.
Yes, I mean it's truly comforting, strangely. But I started reading again a book that I loved from my childhood. It's a classic, From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.
Oh,
L.
I love that book.
Konigsberg. I know, it's so fun, and it kind of goes along with what you were talking about, that idea of being left alone in a big, giant, normally very public space. And
The
yeah, your imagination kind of runs away with you a little bit.
Oh yeah, I was obsessed with that book when I was a child, and just thinking
Uh-huh.
about getting to be in the museum when there was nobody in there and having
Yes.
just full, access to everything. And
Uh-huh.
and those kids too, they're like snarky and funny and smart
Yes.
and
And weirdly sort of grown up.
yeah, yeah. No, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that book.
I do too. It's great. What about you? What have you been reading?
I just finished a book called Memories of the Future by Siri Hustvedt, and it is one of the best books I've read in a long time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
I'm super jazzed about it. It was I think I felt every emotion known to a human
Oh
in
my gosh.
reading that book. I
Which is
mean,
kind of scary, but it's good.
it is, it's intense. I guess it
Hmm.
was fitting for our, the time that we're in, maybe, or something.
Totally.
Or maybe that impacted my reading of it. I don't know, but either way, it did. And like from one sentence to the next, it was gripping and really unusual in the way that the way that it's told. So
Hmm.
I would definitely, well, I recommend that author in general. She's written several novels that are just brilliant. But
Nice. I
yeah,
was about to say you're selling me on it, so
I know,
get
and
in
I'm
line,
interested.
guys.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
Okay. Guilty pleasure television. What have you been watching?
oh gosh, what haven't I been watching?
I'm saying.
I'm guilty of having watched Tiger King.
Of
I did. I
course.
mean, anything that's going to hit the zeitgeist like that, I have to do it.
I have to know what's going on. I know.
Yeah.
And
And
it
then
was, and the thing was, I was not interested. I had several people tell me to watch it. And I
oh,
was
me
like,
too.
what is this nonsense? It is just not anything I would have ever watched on my own. But yeah, I mean,
No.
my mouth was truly hanging open the entire time. It's a roller coaster.
That's the best way to describe it.
A roller coaster that's just constantly going
I was
downhill.
going to say, yeah, it only goes downhill.
There's no up and no redeemable characters really.
No, it's and I'm hoping that she's listening to this because I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Michelle, who just went to Oklahoma
Uh-huh.
and
Oh my
stopped
gosh.
by that place and went,
No.
yes. And so I saw there was a picture of her with, oh no, I can't think of his name. The guy,
Joe
the
Exotic?
no, he's I guess he's still in prison, but
Oh,
the other
yeah.
guy, yeah, the other guy who ended up with the
Spoiler
with the
alert.
place.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, oops. Yeah, delete.
Wait, the
Yeah,
other tiger guy, I
yeah,
guess. I
yes,
don't know what the official name for
yeah.
that
He's
is.
not the
Excuse
Tiger
me.
King. He's the Tiger
Prince?
runner-up or something. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember his name either, but I was not a fan.
No, but yeah, but I was pretty stunned when I saw a picture of her with him.
I mean, it's almost like visiting like the site of a cult or something. I mean, yeah, it's just
Well, I think to me it was like seeing her with a mythical creature. I didn't believe
yeah,
that these
okay.
people really existed. You know,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know, I know that it's supposed to be for real, but I thought no, these people don't. They don't. They feel like characters. They don't feel like
Right.
real
They know
people.
a camera sitting in front of them. They're making this all up.
Right, but apparently they exist. So
Ugh, it's
I don't know how I
unbelievable.
feel about that.
I
Honestly.
know. Right, yeah. A little uneasy maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. But well, yeah, I was right there with you. I also discovered again me and my murder mysteries. So one of my all-time favorite shows ever was season 1 of Broadchurch. It came out, I don't know, 2014ish maybe. It was a BBC show. It's amazing. If
It is good.
It is
Yes.
so good. So I'm always kind of trying to chase that high, so to speak. And this one, I came pretty close. It wasn't as good, but I really enjoyed it. It's called The Bay. It's on Amazon Prime. It's also BBC. Um,
I
and
haven't seen that.
it's really good. It takes place in the UK in a sort of it's a bay town. It's called The Bay. So it, kind of reminds me of Broadchurch in that way. And I want to say it takes like they're kind of near a little town near Scotland. So I recommend watching it with the captions. It's kind of hard to
Yeah.
to understand some of the accents, but it was really good, riveting. I loved the lead character, so I recommend The Bay.
Great. I'm going to put that on my list because I'm
Yeah,
running out of things. I have to feel, I do say like, I feel like I'm running out of options.
yeah, no, and there's one season. I'm hoping they'll have another one. I got really excited because I think there's another show called The Bay that has several seasons. I didn't look into it, but at first
Oh,
I thought that one was the one I was watching. And I was like, great, there are 5 seasons. And then I was really upset when I finished the first season and there wasn't anymore. So
that's a
just
bummer.
warning everyone so you don't get your heart broken.
Right. Ugh. Well, we're going to wrap up here soon, but I did want to mention that we are still closed to the public and we
Mm-hmm.
don't yet know when that's going to change. But what we're doing while we're here, in addition to, running and screaming and making funny
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
videos, we are also trying to figure out ways to prepare to be able to open so that we can have people here again. So
Yeah, it's a
we're
lot to think about.
yes, yeah, it's a lot of logistical stuff and our biggest concern is the safety of the community. So
Mm-hmm.
we're working on that. But we're gonna end up for our first podcast with a little segment about what's making us happy this week.
I think we could
And
all use happiness right now.
yes, exactly. So I'm going to start.
Sure.
Okay. I discovered that there is a perfume called Whispers in the Library.
Oh, so
And
perfect.
yes. And so immediately I ordered some because I have to know what this smells like.
Yes.
And it did. It made me very happy. It smells very good. I
Mm-hmm.
do not think that it's based on our library.
No,
Not that
this
our
is not
library
a
is bad.
whispering library.
No, no. So I think
We'll have
they
we'll
bottled this
create
somewhere else.
yeah, we'll create screams in the library. I don't know.
You're right. That's a. I don't want to know what that would smell like either.
No,
Actually,
no, I
but
know. Nothing good.
And then the other thing that I discovered, and I cannot recall where I heard about it, but there is a number that you can call. It's 1-855 by Magic, BY Magic, and I'm not going to tell you anything else. You should just call that number, and I think it's something that will give you a giggle.
Yeah, it was she had me test it out earlier and did not explain anything beforehand, and it's pretty silly.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying that it's anything smart or, it's not going to
Right,
challenge you.
disclaimer.
Yeah. This is a silly selection, not a
Mm-hmm.
serious one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
So I have been I love the cello. I think it's the most beautiful instrument in the entire world. And I started following Yo-Yo Ma's. He's a famous cellist. I started following his page on Facebook, and I believe it's Tuesday, he puts out a video. He's calling it Songs of Comfort, and it's a different sort of classic song every week. And it is so soothing. I mean, I've gone back and listened to them multiple times. I love the cello. I think it's just an instant sort of anxiety reliever. So that's Yo-Yo Ma on Facebook, his Songs of Comfort. I love it.
That's awesome. I saw that, but I hadn't stopped and
Oh my
listened to
gosh, you
it.
should.
So,
You should.
yeah.
I love it.
Well, that's it for our first ever episode. We will be doing this weekly for the foreseeable future. And we'll have updates each week. We'll let you know what's going on here, what our plans are, and any other little tidbits. Please feel free to respond and comment about other things that you might want to know, or if you have suggestions for us about reading recommendations or other things that we can do. We want to hear from you because that's typically how we make our decisions, and so we don't want to be in a vacuum in that sense. We want to know what you
yeah,
like.
keep our conversations going.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
we'll be seeing you virtually in the near future.
Oh,
So we'll sign off. I'm Crystal,
I'm
and
Emily.
bye.
Bye, guys.